Hey everyone, I just wanted to let you know something went wrong during the record. My microphone specifically got borked somehow. I did my best with the record, and the audio quality is far less than perfect, and I'm really sorry about that. During the episode, my audio clips in and out a lot, and it doesn't sound great, but I hope you enjoy the episode anyway, and we'll try to do better in the future. Thanks.
Content warning. On this podcast, we discuss sensitive issues, including but not limited to swearing, tasteless jokes, situations of a sexual nature, and drug use. This podcast is not intended for children.
Welcome to BiblioWrecks, where we read the worst stories the world has to offer. I'm BamBam.
And I'm Bugs.
How's it going, Bugs?
It feels like a while since we've sat down to record. I know for you all, you get a regular schedule, but on our side of it,
is anything but regular.
Because for weeks we'll have every Friday, we record every Friday, and we get it out and we get it done. And then my fall just kind of blew up, and I have not had time. So
yeah, I'm not sure when this one will come out, but this is just a little bit after the flood.
Yes, the poor Southwest Virginia and Western North Carolina had a terrible, terrible flood.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of chaos with all the storm stuff, and there was just, my schoolwork has just been a lot where I'm getting my business degrees, and never mind the election and all that stuff going on, so.
Let's never mind that altogether.
Yeah, it's just been a lot, but, so I was intending on doing this story. I intended very hard, and I failed. Yeah, so you're doing the story instead.
Yeah.
I get to sit here and knit and listen to you tell me all about it. So what are we covering?
Well, you remember Steven Demogorgon by...
Do I ever?
Silva, yeah.
I still think about Angel Cops, and I get so happy.
Really good episode. But, yeah, this is another suggestion from Mystery World 8170.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Eerie by Daisy De Silva.
And this is not a sequel to Steven Demogorgon.
I don't know what it is. Like, top to bottom, I don't know what this entire thing is. It's like there was a secret season in the middle of Steven Demogorgon that this exists in.
Huh. So it is in the world of angels and demons?
Yeah, for the most part. Like, for some reason, like, everything's just a little bit different. There's, like, no continuity between stories. Like, there will be characters that, like, die or disappear, and then the story following that, they'll just be back, and it's fine. It's all resolved. It was never really a problem. Because this isn't really, like, a continuous story. This is
the way it was the other one, where it was episodes.
But more. It's, like, cranked up to 11. It's like a series of plot hooks, 4 episodes.
Trailers for
to a show that doesn't exist.
Trailers for the episodes.
Yeah, because these stories are like 2 pages long.
Oh.
And it's the end. And I guess we can kind of count this as like our Halloween episode, because these are all kind of horror themed, or like quote unquote spooky, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They're not spooky, but I think they're supposed to be.
Huh.
Yeah, every one of these little episodes are self-contained, but there are sometimes like through lines, like in one episode, and for some reason none of them like make sense in like a timeline, because in one story it's talking about Lydia having sun poisoning, or having already had sun poisoning and recovering from that. And then in the story that's after that,
she gets
the sun poisoning.
So these aren't even in chronological order, like you would expect.
There are like little 2-parters, like the initial story will end, and it'll end with like a to be continued sometimes. And then it'll pick right back up with a part 2.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know why it wasn't just a little bit longer story instead of being split up into 2 parts for some reason.
Is it possible that she thought she was going to do audio dramas with these?
I don't know. Like, there's barely any dialogue in them.
Okay.
But the stories all have the same basic cast as Steven Demogorgon, with the exception of Magdalene's new boyfriend, Byron.
Lord Byron?
Sure, yeah. I don't think he was in the last story, but I haven't checked.
Doesn't
He
sound
had like 2 boyfriends in that one.
okay. Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar. Is he an angel demon person?
He's just a dude.
Oh, human with the name Byron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe he just sucks. I don't know. He doesn't. I don't think he has any lines in that.
Oh,
He's just there. Sometimes there's something in the story I've noticed. Sometimes characters are just there for no rhyme or reason. They're just set dressing, I guess. But I picked 5 or 6 of the stories in this entire story out of 39.
What?
Yeah. There are like 39 of these little short stories. So I picked my 6 favorites. And that's what we're going to do today.
Okay, because this is not like No More Heroes book, where I thought it was a bunch of short stories, and then I come to find out they're all based in the same world, and it mattered reading all of them. So this is episodic, but none of them really impact any of the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like episodic, but none of the stories like have a resolution.
Oh no! It's like she just started 39 separate little stories and couldn't finish them and decided to publish it. Oh,
I don't
no.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what this is.
Is this one free, or do you have to pay for it?
I think it was free on Kindle Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is another through line through a lot of these. I feel like Lydia in a majority of them is like mad at Steven for one thing or another. So
Okay.
maybe you'll pick up on that. Yeah, our first story is Claire. The name of the story is Claire.
Oh, okay.
And it follows Joseph, Steven, and Seth having a party. And there's a line in here that just says, all guys party. Like, it's like, the author is like self-soothing. Like, Steven really wanted to go to a party, and she was like, yeah, it's normal. All guys party all the time.
Okay, are you assuming that we just immediately have listened to the first book? Because I don't know who any of these people are. Could you, for me, please remind me of who I remember Steven Demogorgon, to me, seemed like Lucifer from the TV show.
All right, so I'll back it up. Steven is the fallen angel who starts dating Lydia, who is the main character of the story.
And she's a human. A normal human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's Seth and Vera, who are also fallen angels, and they're just Steven's friends. Then there's Magdalene, who is Lydia's best friend, and then there's Joseph, who is her guy friend, sort of Jacob stand-in, who is just kind of abusive toward Lydia because she doesn't like him.
What was his name again?
Joseph.
Okay, yeah.
So that's the main characters that come up in the story. I think there's a handful of others, but that's the main set, I think. So yeah, it's Steven, Joseph, and Seth are having a dude party with a bunch of other dudes.
We're gonna sit here in our dude cave doing dude stuff.
So all guys party. Steven says it's nice to get a break from the ladies, and that's when he gets a phone call. Oh man, is that Lydia calling? Click.
A lady ruining our guy fun.
And that's a through line through a lot of this is Lydia calls Steven like a lot. Like, later on in the story, Steven references it and he says, yeah, it's nice to get away from her calling me like 100 times a day.
Sounds like he's not grateful for having a relationship.
No, he's not. Like, he's super dismissive, which tracks with the first book. So.
Right, because like Lucifer in the television show, he's self-centered, he's arrogant, he's prideful because he's based on Satan. But over time, he grows to realize he needs to be a better person, especially if he's going to win the love of Chloe, the main human character in that. Whereas this one just felt like an excuse for why guys be dicks. And there's no growth.
Definitely someone is making an excuse for someone being a douchebag.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hangs up on her, and then Lydia calls Joseph's phone, and then Steven talks to Lydia anyway. It feels like the only reason that was brought in was just to establish that Steven is an asshole. But he reassures her that he will call her tomorrow. And then he says, "I love you, my Lydia."
He love bombs her. He neglects her, loves bombs her, neglects her. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he gets off the phone with her, and then he apologizes to all his guy friends because he took a phone call from his girlfriend.
And like in the first book, wasn't there like a lot of danger and conflict, and she got kidnapped and he had to rescue her?
Yeah, and in this story, there's a lot of Lydia has like anxiety, like a lot of anxiety going on.
Mm-hmm. Basically, if you like, when their school calls me, I always answer because they're probably calling for a good reason.
Yeah,
so
important.
If it's like your spouse or your significant other, they're probably calling for a good reason. This isn't a telemarketer. Mm-hmm. This is someone who has a reason to talk to you. So to treat them like a telemarketer who's just annoying you and getting in your way, that's kind of not nice.
They go back to partying, and then someone rings the doorbell.
Dun, dun, dun.
Here's just to get a feel for the writing in this story, because it was hysterical in the last book. The same level of bad, faster.
Oh, wow.
It felt like she wrote this in a rush.
But why? When you're not making money, this is either fan fiction or just your personal musings. Why would you? Yes. Why wouldn't you slow down and enjoy it and just?
Yeah, I don't know why. But anyway. Direct quote from the story. The doorbell rings. A woman asks to use the phone when her car breaks down. "Hi, I'm Claire, and my car broke down not far from here. I was wondering if I could use your phone." And there's a lot of that. Like, it'll just say, "Oh, this character did this thing," and then it's just,
then she just,
"Hey, I'm doing this thing."
And then her belly rumbled because she was hungry. "My tummy rumbled. I'm hungry."
Oh my goodness. It's exhausting when it's done 39 times in a row.
Yeah. So how long was this book like for reading or listening to for you?
Oh, the entire thing is like 77 pages.
It's really short.
Yeah.
So these ones were like 3 paragraphs long. They're like tiny.
Yeah, they're like max like 4 pages each for these stories. I could have had the whole thing read in like an hour or so, but I just kept having to stop and just be gobsmacked about how badly it's written. And just be like, I would read like 2 or 3 and I'd just be like, I need a break. I'm so tired and this is all nonsense. So she comes in, she uses the phone. Steven notices that she is like super focused on him.
Because he is the handsomest boy.
Right. So she's staring at Steven after making her phone call. She comes over and talks to him, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you around. Welcome to Eerie." And Claire says, "I'm fascinated by Eerie. You know what else I'm fascinated about?"
These ads and services.
Oh, it sounds like an ad pivot. Yeah! Oh my God. I was like, is it better? Nope. I feel like it's better.
Is it Blue Apron? I'll buy pre-cut vegetables.
Oh boy. Yeah, I got
okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a great setup. So the answer is
it's Steven. She turns into a demon.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she just turns into a demon. She's like, and she's like trying to, I don't know, invite him to the demon army or something.
Isn't he already a fallen angel though?
Yeah.
But he's not a demon because those are a separate thing in this universe.
I guess he's like in a neutral position between heaven and hell at this point or something.
Okay.
Because at the end of the last book, he went to heaven to go date God or whatever. So the demon bites Joseph's arm, which is weird because his arm gets bit like multiple times throughout multiple stories.
Wait. Wasn't Joseph the one in the last one where Steven would like randomly paralyze him and just leave him paralyzed? And it was just this side character that they would just beat up on because it was funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, Joseph was being a douchebag.
So he deserved it.
Yeah, well,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
So he's the one that you enjoy watching get tormented and
kind of
beat up on.
Well, I mean, he was being like mildly controlling and abusive to Lydia, so like, grabbing her arm and like pushing her and stuff.
The Jacob character.
Yeah, the Jacob character.
Oh boy.
So yeah, they fight the demon. Seth kills Demon Claire with a sword, and the demon's scream of agony is so loud that it wakes up Lydia back at her house.
What?
Yeah,
Don't they live like across the town from each other?
Uh-huh.
So this like is town.
Yeah, it's like
toppling.
A window-shattering scream.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, but it's loud enough to wake up Lydia, who wakes up, quote, in a night sweats.
So she jerks up, she wakes up sitting upright in a pool of sweat, like every bad television show.
Right, but the actual
But from the noise.
text is in a night sweats.
In a night sweats. Yeah. Well, it was this lady's English is her second language. It just potentially.
Sure.
Well, that was your basic premise last time.
Yeah, but I think she's like maybe Italian, maybe an Italian.
Or you said it sounded like she spoke or wrote in Portuguese.
Portuguese, yeah.
Portuguese.
Yeah, I misremembered. Not Italian, Portuguese.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lydia wakes up in her night sweats, and she has a gut feeling something happened to Steven. Steven!
This is making me think of Madeline, where the nun woke up and something was wrong. Okay, sorry, yes, continue.
But yeah, she yells out, Steven! In all caps, and the end.
No. No. You're fucking with me. No.
That's how all of these stories end, actually.
Why was she yelling about Stephen when Joseph got bit? Yeah, Joseph is the one who screamed.
He didn't even do anything.
Nothing happened to Stephen.
A lady invited him to a demon army while I guess he just stood there. Like, it never said he did anything in the story. Like, Seth was the one fighting the demon.
And Joseph is the one that got bit.
Right. So the demon transformed in front of him, and then there was a whole fight, and Stephen could have just been standing there and it hadn't changed anything.
And that was the end of that.
That was the end of that story. You see what I mean? I don't know what all the stories are like that, and I don't know what to do with it.
I'm glad you did this one, because this would have driven me insane. This would have made me furious. Mm. You know, when we did Tainted Tales and Haunted Rhymes, or whatever that one was called, Rotten Rhymes, and we kept hitting weird ending places, and it was like, why would you publish this when it's so obviously not finished? Mm-hmm. I feel like this is a very similar. I did all these writing exercises for a community college class, and I want to publish them.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like she was like working through something with this. Like all they are like hooks.
Yeah.
Hook for like a
next time on the Steven Demogorgon show, Claire turns into a demon. Ah! Well, where's the episode? I want to watch that now.
So this next one is The White Van. And this one
does it turn into a demon? By Joseph.
You'll find out.
That wasn't a no.
You'll find out. So this one's our first two-parter, but it was done really weirdly. So part one isn't labeled part one. It comes at like the first third of the book. And then part two is like way at the very other end of the book.
Oh.
And you don't find out there is a part two. It just leaves it on a cliffhanger like a lot of these. So you're not really expecting a part two.
Right, because we haven't consistently had an ending to any of these. Oh, that's weird. So you just had to figure that out on your own?
Yeah, I just have to keep reading because it feels like a lot of these they just end on story, spooky thing. The end. like it's a scare in an amusement park or something.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one, the white van, Lydia and Vera are in downtown Eerie visiting shops when Lydia sees a white van with blood spats on it.
Tasteless decals?
Nope, that's actual blood.
Oh, okay.
Probably, I'm not sure. The driver is wearing a mask and sticks his head out the window.
He's a dog.
He's not a dog.
Darn it.
One of them is a horse, though. Well, a horse mask.
Oh, okay. I recently listened to Supernatural Inc., so I'm just like trying to guess the most insane things I can.
So the description of this mask is really weird.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, the direct quote is, suddenly someone popped their head out of the window on the driver's side wearing a Halloween mask of a ghoulish-looking creature with big dark eyes and no mouth on the mask.
A scream mask?
I don't know. But again, she's repeating the Halloween mask with description on the mask. So I thought that was real weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which it could just be another
I feel
thing.
bad for people who publish stuff like this because it's like, surely you had one single friend who was capable of just reading it and telling you, fix this sentence, and this is how, like, read it aloud. That's one of your tricks when you're editing your own writing. First go through, read it out loud. If it doesn't make sense out loud, you did something wrong. So just mark it that way first. It feels like no one even did that for this lady.
Lydia and Vera see the van and are afraid, so they start moving away, but the van follows them.
It's on the scent of blood. It's a vampire van.
I mean, it's just focused on Lydia, because Lydia and Steven Demogorgon are the only people that are important in the world.
This van is just hunting people.
Yeah. So the van pulls up, a man in a horse mask grabs Lydia and pulls her in the van. Presumably Vera is also pulled into the van at some point, and I got, because all the text says is that Lydia gets pulled into the van, and then later Vera is just there also.
Okay, so that's why the assumption is she got grabbed too. It's just not said.
But there was only one guy that wasn't driving the van.
She said, "Don't leave me behind." So, jumped in
It
too.
feels like she just stood there and waited to be kidnapped too.
Huh.
She's like, "Don't separate me from my friend. We
Mm-hmm.
have to go together." It's like adopting kittens.
You have to tag along with the little brother. You have to bring him along, even if you really don't want to.
Lydia sees that there is another man in the van that's tied up and has nails in his face and toes.
He's tied up. He had nails hammered into his face and toes.
Presumably, yes.
Not fingernails sticking out of them.
What?
He doesn't have fingernails sticking out of his face. He has nails,
like
hammered spikes.
Yeah.
Does he have a hood on his head or just...
No, never says anything about how he's just got a bunch of nails just stuck in him, I guess.
Okay.
I guess it's supposed to be creepy.
Ooh.
Lydia pleads with her kidnappers to let her go and that her boyfriend will kill them. Horse mask man says,
"You'll wake up the nail guy."
That's the only thing he says in the story. And he only says it twice. He says, shh. And then another time, it's spelled differently. It's SHSHSH. Yeah, it's like, so I don't know what that was for. It was very funny.
That is very, oh my God, that's very funny.
And then they play Eerie music in the van. Because the name of the book is this book does that joke at least 8 times.
But the town name is already Eerie.
And the name of the book is Eerie.
Oh my God. Is that the only joke she knows?
I think so.
Because wasn't that a major joke in the first book?
Joked at least twice in the...
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. You know what? It doesn't make sense either that people would just be around kidnapping people like Lydia, because it's not a secret that this town is full of demons and angels and humans. Like, it was never this big secret that no one could know. Everyone in the first book knew that those were around. So if Lydia turns around and says, hey, my boyfriend's gonna kill you, he's an angel, this guy would be like, oh shit, grab the wrong girl. I don't want to tangle with him, unless he is also a demon or whatever.
So,
Oh, he's a demon. I guessed it.
okay, but that's a really safe guess. That's what happens in 90% of the story.
That's what happened in the whole first book.
Like they were either a demon or a crow.
Yes, every time they met someone new, they ended up being a demon.
Yeah. So, Nails Man says, don't ask questions or you'll end up like me. And for them to just go along with it, I guess.
You won't be me. Because his mouth is stapled shut with nails.
And then the driver just turns around and he throws a dead, mutilated rat at Lydia.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, for profit. I don't know why he does this. He just turns around and keeps driving.
Wouldn't getting nails nailed in your face kill you? I'm just curious.
Like, unless you're, like, careful, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. It matters to me. I'm bothered by this.
It doesn't matter in the story. You'll find out.
Okay.
Van stops and is suddenly surrounded by fog. So I think this is a new power that Steven Demogorgon has, I guess.
Oh, yeah. He had
He
random
has, like,
powers.
fog.
Nice.
He's like a WWE wrestler now.
He leveled up in the theater production era.
The end.
No. God damn it. No.
That's the end of part 1. That still has a part 2. But I wanted to give you what I had the experience reading this.
I would have been so angry doing this book. I'm angry listening to 2 parts of 39.
God, I wish this was an audiobook. It is not. So yeah, part 2.
You're going to save us outrage for all that time and zip, 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 zip to the next part of it.
Yeah, just zipping straight to it.
Okay.
I don't know why she did it, and it's nonsense.
Right, like, well...
I'm fixing it. I'm doing this for the author.
Okay.
Part 2 of the story is all the way at the other end of the book, as I've said. The rest of the story is just Steven killing the guys, who are all, surprise, demons.
Of course.
Even Nails Man.
Oh.
And it's funny because he's asking Lydia, is your boyfriend going to kill me too? And she's like, no, he'll save you. It's fine. He's like, but what if I'm part of the plan? And then he turns.
You could have been saved, man. You didn't have to blow your cover like that.
It was a really dumb way to blow the cover. So the author also seems to think the way to write scary action sequence is to make the sentences shorter.
No.
Yeah, it's like trying to build suspense with like 3 or 4 word sentences.
If we put in a period, it will add to the suspense.
The anticipation. But that's the end of the story. Yeah, somehow more unsatisfying, isn't it?
That's worse.
Yeah.
Is there any dialogue? Is there anything good that happens when he's killing these guys?
No, it's just them fighting in the fog, and Lydia's just running around confused in the fog because she can't. Because apparently the fog is so thick that she can get lost in it and hide in it
from demons.
And also her friends, because she also can't find them.
But she was in a van.
Yeah, they got out of the van.
She could have just walked back into the van and just let him.
Well, the inside of the van was also not very inviting. I forgot that little detail, but the inside of the van is also lined with spikes and nails and stuff.
That's not safe.
It's not. It's really stupid.
That's not OSHA approved. Okay.
But you know what else isn't OSHA approved?
Our work environment, man.
Have you seen the beams in here? It's terrible.
This place is full of wasps.
Mold.
There's stink bugs everywhere. There's flies. Oh, paint's chipping.
Ads.
Ads. Hello, Biblio fans, friends, and fiends. Just taking a moment to tell you how to find our growing community. We're on Facebook and Instagram, where I try to post pretty often, and we have a subreddit that we will start using as soon as Bam Bam gets over his crippling fear of Reddit. And of course, our YouTube. Look us up at BiblioWrecks. We would love to hear suggestions and chat about bad books there, as well as over email, BiblioWrecks@gmail.com. That's spelled BiblioWrecks. Thank you for listening. Now let's get back to that bad book. And we're back for
I've called the union. We're unionized now. You have to pay me more.
I will give you 50% of the zero we make every month. We both pay 50% for the bills we have, so that's equal there.
Next story.
I'm still pissed about the other one. Oh.
Quad the cat.
Is he a demon?
I don't know.
Oh.
He's not a demon.
Okay. Well.
But do you wanna guess how Claude is spelled?
No. It's not. No.
Do you wanna guess? You wanna guess it?
Is it CLAWED?
Yeah, it sure is.
No! That is the dumbest joke ever.
This story follows Joseph and then slips into just being Joseph.
Does he get clawed by Claude?
He does get clawed by Claude.
Oh my god! Clawed by Claude with an eerie noise in Eerie.
So, this story is really emblematic of a problem that the author has with slipping into first person to third person, like randomly. Because at first it's Joseph was busy cleaning out his attic and Joseph does X and then Joseph thought Y. And then later it slips into I from Joseph's perspective.
Oh.
With no separation or anything like that. It just slips into it. And then later, when Lydia comes in, it slips to Lydia's perspective.
Oh. And see,
you never know who I is.
That's why when I'm going through a story and I'm like, this wasn't bad, we kept the same perspective. Because when it is not the same perspective through the story, it is so disjointed and difficult. And if you've never read a really bad book, like one of these that has obviously not been edited, not been read by...
Barely been written.
Barely written. When you're trying to actually tell someone what happened in the story and the perspective changes back and forth, it makes it really frustrating to even know what's going on, let alone describe it.
Right. So Joseph is cleaning his attic when he hears a cat meowing and then goes looking for the cat. And he finds it. It's, of course, a black cat. He brings it food and milk and returns to cleaning. Sidebar. You're not supposed to feed adult cats milk.
Well, you're not, especially not pasteurized milk, because we would give our farm cats goat milk that was fresh. It didn't hurt them, but modern pasteurized cow milk is not good for cats.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he goes back to cleaning, and the cat brings him a dead crow and starts eating it, and she keeps trying to write this out like it's something really creepy, but that's just what cats
do.
Yeah, cats just do that. All cats do that, not just the black.
cats.
Sure,
it's creepy, but
yeah.
Okay.
So Joseph throws away the crow and calls Lydia for help.
Because a cat showed up and had a crow.
I guess he never asks for a specific thing for Lydia to help him with. He's just like, hey, Lydia, yeah, it's this cat. can you come over? I'm like, what do you want her to do? What do you want to do? What are your intentions
Is this
here?
just an excuse to get Lydia to come over?
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, he's got the cat locked in like a bedroom.
So just lock it out. Don't let it in. It's not your cat, man.
So he takes a break and watches TV, gets some food and stuff. And then the cat starts scratching on the door and meowing increasingly loudly.
Yeah, they don't like getting locked into bedrooms. They really don't.
Joseph opens the door and the cat's mouth is dripping blood and has what appears to be human flesh.
How would you be able to tell?
I don't know. Like, it's just a chunk of meat, probably.
Right, which would not look... Unless it's a face. Okay, unless the flesh is actually like a part of a face or a human hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't say like what it looks like or whether it's skin or not. It just says it looks like human flesh, which if it's just the flesh, it looks indiscernible from any other kind of meat.
Maybe he's a connoisseur of human flesh. You don't know.
Joseph could look at it.
Maybe he knows what that looks like.
So he tries to catch the cat in a bird cage. In the process, the cat bites a chunk out of his arm. And now it definitely does have a chunk of human flesh.
Yes. And also, he probably has rabies now. Good job.
Yeah, cool. Lydia shows up and sees the cat eating Joseph's skin.
Just like the demon earlier bit his arm. How does he have any arm left?
Suddenly, the cat escapes and jumps toward Lydia, and she screams, "No!" The end.
Oh my god. Fucking hell. Seriously?
I don't know why you keep expecting these to end and in a way that's at all satisfactory.
I thought maybe they would do something with the cat.
Nope. It just jumps toward her, and that was the scary
Oh my
part.
god. Are you serious? These are too short. Like,
really short.
Like, you know how someone will be handing out snacks, say at like a Halloween party or something, and you're like, "Ooh, yeah, I want some of those little Teddy Graham crackers. Those are fun. Those are yummy." And they hand you one, and you're like, "Yeah, buddy." And you open it up, and there's 3, and you're like, "Well, now I just want." Now, before I wasn't hungry. Now you gave me a tiny, minuscule snack, and now I'm mad. It was enough to make me annoyed.
But this isn't even like a snack. It's like
no, it's like a Teddy Graham. It tastes like chemicals and toddlers.
Unsalted hardtack is what we're eating.
But at least that would be something you could chew on. The whole book is like this.
The whole book.
Oh my god, this is horrible.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're halfway through at this point. This is the halfway mark.
I'm trusting you.
They get better. So
I don't believe you. I trust you. I don't believe
they
you.
don't get good, but they get funnier to me.
Okay. Which means they get worse.
Yeah.
In this case, worse can only mean it's more funny.
This one's called Camping.
Is the camper a demon?
This one doesn't have a demon.
Oh, well, lucky me.
No demons.
No Joseph to get chewed up either.
Your hedge betting ends here.
Does Joseph get eaten by a deer?
He is involved in this one. So this one is Steven, Seth, and Joseph, and they're camping.
Ah, man, people doing man things in the man camper.
And again, they're remarking on how nice it is that they don't have to take any calls from the women's.
No cell service, no nagging wife. Well, darn, who's going to do the washing up around here?
Again, Stephen remarks, you got that right. Lydia won't be calling me 100 times. So I don't know if that's like an exaggeration at all, or if she literally calls him exactly 100 times every day. It's written like a little stiffly, like he may actually mean that.
Right, like it could be literal and it might not be hyperbole. Like, interesting.
Yeah. So then it thunders, and then they hear some noise out in the woods, which it's the woods. There's just going to be noise out there sometimes.
Animals live there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Joseph is like, he looks afraid, But then Steven and Seth reassure him that he's going to be safe because they're there.
Because he never gets bitten by random cats and demons in every other story. Maybe the punching bag is scared because there's fists nearby.
In every story, it's abused one way or another, yeah.
Okay.
So they all have dinner, they go to bed in the tent. Joseph wakes up to the sounds of footsteps and then goes to look for them. Like, it would make more sense if, like, Joseph got up to pee or something.
Yeah.
And then while he's peeing, he hears footsteps.
Yeah.
So,
Come on, man. Being a scaredy cat is the rational thing here.
right.
Don't be dumb and courageous at this moment.
And he's like, oh, I'm so scared of these footsteps in the woods. I better go look for it.
Oh my God.
Then he hears a strong male voice call his name.
Ooh.
Yeah. A tall man in a black cloak throws a beam of light at Joseph.
Okay.
And Joseph just goes into like anti-gravity mode. Like he just starts floating up.
So this is vampire hypnotism, old school Dracula.
The guy's just doing magic.
Oh, okay.
Joseph says, my friends are going to get you at some point.
After you've bitten me on the arm?
Yeah. And at which point, Steven shows up saying, yeah, we got this. And then Seth says something really weird. He says, I knew it. He's a warlock. And I'm like, how did you know? You never knew this man existed prior to 3 seconds ago.
Right.
Were you guys up here looking for this guy? Cause that's
right.
Cause it makes it sound premeditated now.
Right. Oh, they brought Joseph as the bait. Yeah. Which is why he's always paranoid and afraid.
It makes excellent.
Yeah.
Even the warlock wonders.
He's the Dan from Lucifer. Chloe's ex-husband.
But yeah, even the warlock asks, he's like, how do you know I'm a warlock?
Right.
Which he just did magic, but I like.
But still, in this world,
don't even know me.
In this world of angels and demons and angel cops, there's no reason it would be a warlock.
There's also no reason for it not to be a warlock.
Right.
So they beat the shit out of the warlock.
He didn't even do anything yet.
Well, he made Joseph float.
Oh, okay.
They kill the warlock, and then the story ends, but...
So that one had an ending, but was the stupidest so far.
Well, it has like a bizarre ending, because this line that's thrown at the end, like, you remember the part where Joseph was like a little scared?
Yeah.
They had to reassure him. Steven throws one last blow at the warlock and holds him down as Seth opens the locket and the warlock disappears. Joseph falls onto the ground in disbelief. Never question us, Steven says. The guys look at each other. The end.
They had a locket to absorb a warlock?
There's like 3 different lockets in this story, and none of them do the same thing.
There's 3 lockets in this short story?
No, in the entire book.
Oh.
But all of them do different stuff. So they're not connected, and it was never brought up before now.
Was this a locket somebody was wearing? Who had it?
Presumably just Seth had it. He just got it on him, I guess. Just to catch warlocks.
It just catches warlocks.
Yeah.
But that makes it really sound like it was a trap. And they were using...
Sounds even more premeditated.
Yeah.
It could potentially capture other stuff, but we only see this locket once ever, and it only catches the one warlock.
Yeah.
Right there at the end, it's like, Steven just says, never question us, and Joseph never once questioned them. So it ends just like really intense, and then just everybody's looking at each other, the end. So real weird.
Yeah, because this one actually had a setup, a scene, a thing happen, a climax, and a resolution, and it's the worst of all of these so far. Okay.
This next one, I'm pretty sure that the author had just watched like the Conjuring series
Ooh, okay. I haven't watched those, but I understand the basic premise.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very. I mean, it's not even that because the doll doesn't even do anything in the story. Like it's just alive. The end.
The doll doesn't bite you.
Well, it never gets a chance. This one might be one of the funnier ones. This time we're doing a girls' night. This story's called The Doll.
Finally, I don't have to call Steven because I'm distracted by my girlfriend.
Oh, she thinks about it. She has to sit there and like hold herself back so that she doesn't accidentally call Steven.
Oh my god. Girl, you're having a girls' night. Forget about him. Jeez.
So it's a game night at Vera's place with Vera, Magdalene, and Lydia. And the guys they're all on a road trip. I don't know if this is happening at the same time as the camping trip or what it is, but they're gone doing something else.
Oh, okay.
Guys night and trashing Lydia, presumably.
Right.
They play a game called Find Jason in the Cabin. Have you ever heard of that game? I think it's a board game. I looked it up. I could not find that it existed. So I don't know if she just made this up.
Find Jason
In the Cabin, yeah.
No. I don't even know if I've heard of that in like pop culture or any other references. So wasn't Jason the bad guy in Friday the 13th? So I would have expected it to be a reference there, but I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, I looked it up. I couldn't find anything on it.
Huh, okay.
But yeah, they play this game, eat popcorn, and of course drink Silva's wine.
Yes, the best wine.
Because that's the author's favorite cheap wine. Which,
yep.
Not knocking cheap wine. We like cheap wine. That's fine.
And it's not bad for cheap wine. It doesn't make you quite as badly hungover as like Red Rooster or Barefoot.
Yeah. Magdalene sees Vera's family doll on the mantle, and Vera explains that she's been meaning to put it away for a while. They finish playing games. Lydia is actively trying not to call Steven. Like she's having to sit there and force herself not to think about calling Steven. It's really
gracious
weird.
Me.
They hear tiny footsteps and notice the doll is gone.
You shouldn't have said that in front of her, man. She knows now.
They're all terrified and split up to look for the doll. And again, it's I'm very afraid right now. Let's go look for the scary thing. Lydia finds it upstairs, and the doll says, "Hello, Lydia." Lydia runs downstairs. Magdalene grabs a knife. Doll says, "Hello, Magdalene."
Hello.
Mags kicks the doll and runs upstairs.
Okay.
Vera comes out of the basement. Doll says, "Hello, Vera." Vera screams. Mags runs back down the stairs. Lydia is looking for something to put the doll in. Magdalene gets matches. The doll says, "Wait, girls, the party's just beginning."
Okay.
Lydia throws the doll in the fireplace, and Magdalene throws a match at it.
Okay.
But the doll just blows it out.
Oh, that's amazing. That is fantastic. I love this. That is so funny.
But then Vera takes the matches away from Magdalene and then just does the same thing, and it works this time.
Oh.
Didn't do anything differently. But this time it works for some reason. Doll screams in agony. Vera starts crying. The end.
Huh. Okay. Girls' night, doll attack, the end. Huh. See, and that one has an open...
That one has an ending.
That one has an ending, and it's worse, too. We have opening scene, characters, climax, ending, and that is lame.
Yeah, it was just step by step. Like, it gave, like, the full rundown of what everyone was doing all the time, and it was stupid.
Right.
I don't know why Magdalene ran upstairs. I don't think the matches were upstairs. I think she found them in the kitchen. So that one it was wild.
Okay, I will say, this one feels like it was written from experience.
You think the author did this?
Okay, you've never been a teenage girl, but...
As far as you know.
As far as I know. But, okay, there's this thing called giggleitis. And when you have a whole bunch of girls together, we get the giggleitis. But it turns into hysteria. And if you have been drinking, which when I was hanging out with teenage girls, we weren't drinking, you get into this really heightened emotional state. And you can get into you can get yourself worked up into a state that if you look at a window and it's dark outside, you can scare yourself into thinking something is looking in at you. And then because you get scared, everyone else gets scared. And then because they're scared, you start screaming. And then because you're screaming, they're screaming, and everyone runs around until an adult comes in and shouts at you to be quiet, or you finally fall down in exhaustion and nothing actually ever happened. And
It really does sound like that.
yes, because
the doll doesn't even do anything in the story.
No, it doesn't have
all it does
to.
Is say, hello person, hello person, hello person. And it screams as it dies.
Yes. I will also say, when I was a kid, I had an allergic reaction to a brand new doll that was given to me. This doll had a voice box.
So you thought
My mom thought that the doll tried to suffocate me because I got a green ring around my mouth. And she decided that meant the doll tried to suffocate me. And she took it away and threw it away.
That's funny.
Because she heard the voice box in the middle of the night. Never mind, I was a child probably rolling around in the bed, knocking the voice box in the doll. And then when I woke up, I had this green ring around my mouth because I had some kind of allergic reaction to this doll. Yeah, I could see this, and the doll may not have actually existed, but I can absolutely see young women getting into a hysteria because this is the first one that feels really real to me, and it's amazing. Like one time I was having girls' night with some friends, and we watched a couple scary movies, like really scary, that was like, came out in like 2008, 2009. And then the dog barked downstairs and made us jump, and one of us dropped a hairbrush that we were holding, and that made us scream. And it is just this very specific situation. Like you got a bunch of girls together. Oh my God. Okay. I will say that one, A+. I love that one. That one is great. I love that. Yes.
So we got one more story, and it's a two-parter. This one's called Arabic.
Like the language.
Yes.
Okay. It's an Arab man who bites Joseph.
So I need help with this one because this one is like a really weird space. I think it might be like a little racist, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. So
Okay.
I'm going to explain to you, and you can see where it leads you.
Okay.
The first story is entirely in italics.
Say that again.
The entire first part, Arabic part 1, all italics. Like every bit of text in part 1 is in italics.
Like an inner monologue or a dream. That's what that usually means in a story.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But it's just written like everything else.
Oh.
Like there's no distinction as far as like...
She didn't know how to turn italics off.
It kind of feels like that. Like
Okay.
She couldn't figure out how to turn off italics for the story, and then just never went back, like highlighted all of it and unclicked italics. I don't know. I don't know if she was like trying to bring attention to this one, because I feel like a lot of these stories are Lydia getting kidnapped. So I think maybe the author might have some anxieties about kidnapping, but this one is Lydia's in a restaurant waiting for Steven. Steven texts her and tells her to order the food because he's still driving, which also not great. Steven is texting and driving, and
he could just fly and be there instantly, right?
His powers are really inconsistent here, but I think it's just the story requires him to be late.
Okay.
Lydia is also getting text from her doctor about her upcoming surgery.
Weird.
And then Lydia notices 2 very handsome Arabic men staring at her. And then one of them approaches her. There's a whole big block of text here, and I'm just going to read all of it because it's something. Lydia says, "Can I help you? You are to come with us, young lady. You have something that belongs to me and I want it back," he says to me. "I'm sorry, I'm confused. What are you talking about?" I say. Let me explain, Lydia. It seems that when you went in for your routine pap smear with Dr. Colcari, he inserted the chip inside you where you have a very large fibroid or fibroid that's inside you. He hid the chip from me and my colleague inside your fibroid. I need it back. With that, do you know what a fibroid is?
Yeah, a fibroid.
Fibroid. Okay.
It's
It's
just
a non-cancerous growth that grows inside of someone's uterus.
yes, or sometimes outside, depending on what type of issues you have.
Yeah.
But yes,
But he says it's a very large fibroid.
they can be very large.
Right.
Yes,
I looked it up. They can grow up to like the size of a grapefruit.
yeah, they can make your life miserable.
Right.
They can make your life intolerable.
Right. I don't know why.
If he was
Doctor.
in there, okay. If this was an exploratory exam to see what needed to be done, that can be done outpatient. And then you come back.
No. If it was a routine pap smear, is what
Well, that wouldn't have gotten up into the uterus then, because that just touches the cervix. So that would have usually I don't think you see fibroids in the vaginal wall.
And like it would be like embedded in the flesh. Like he would have to like pierce through flesh to get the chip into the fibroid. Right?
I mean, a pap smear fucking hurts.
Yeah,
it's horrifying.
Absolutely.
I've
heard horror stories.
Yeah, it can make you faint. It is not fun at all. But I think the idea is that whoever this was inserted a chip into her cervix, and the author doesn't know how to say that. This is basically just a conspiracy to get a chip into her. I don't think any of this is medically accurate.
Probably not. It was just really weird.
But why would they approach her at a restaurant about this?
Right. Like when they approached the doctor like during the surgery.
Because obviously she's going to have to go back for surgery to get this removed. Because that's
what
like,
the text was.
yeah, you would have to go under anesthesia because they're going to be actually like cutting and burning and doing a lot of work. And sometimes that has to be going like through your stomach wall, like depending on where the stuff is. And like if she has that is like a horrifying medical issue to deal with. But like, this sounds like an X-Files. We found a chip in your X-ray on your brain and we need it back. This sounds incongruent with the rest of the story.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I find the entire thing, because this is the first time that this author has brought up like anyone's ethnicity or culture or anything like that.
Right, because everyone's had basically American English white people names.
But these guys are very, like, I can't think of like any specific reason that these characters would be Arabic. And it feels like she really focused on that point.
Right,
because they're brought up, they are the Arabic men. Because
the stereotype in some places is Indian doctors, because very talented Indian people will come over here, go to our medical school, and then they stay here and earn money and send money home. And that's kind of a stereotype because, it happens a lot and those people have a better standard of living here and can make a lot of money. But I'm not getting where this Arab thing is coming from, except maybe like terrorist
I've got
something.
I've got a little bit of a theory. Like every other kidnapping story that's in here, it's always a monster. But these are the first humans that are doing a kidnap.
So they don't turn into demons.
No.
They don't turn into Joseph's arm.
These are just guys.
These are just humans.
They are Arabic men.
And the chip they're talking about is like a literal computer chip or a tracking chip or something.
It never goes back into it.
Like, this is really getting me with like the whole Dana Scully X-Files where she had this medical stuff done to her and ended up with a chip and weird stuff.
But yeah, yeah, those points really bother me. Like,
yeah,
it feels a little racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
As long as it's not just me.
No, that's just weird.
It is really weird. So, yeah, they're like, we gotta cut this out of here. And she's like, no!
I'm waiting for my rolls! And my wine.
My salad.
It's unlimited soup tonight.
She's done an Olive Garden.
I haven't had my peach wine with my dinner yet.
Yeah, they're like, please come with us. We can perform the surgery in this unmarked van in the alley.
No, you cannot, good sir. You can leave me the fuck alone.
Correctly, she says no. But they grab her and take her to the van.
This is just kidnapping with a medical excuse.
Yeah. Lydia pepper sprays them and runs back to the restaurant.
Okay, good.
And the waiter calls for the security guards.
Okay.
I don't know why this restaurant has security.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be. Okay.
But yeah, they bring up the security guards and they ready their guns, but the Arabic men are coming back with powerful guns.
They got bigger guns. Okay.
Then Lydia calls Steven and shrieks for him to please hurry. To be continued.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately.
Okay.
Arabic Part 2. The Arabic men win the fight, in the story's words, with the security, and Lydia doesn't understand how. Like, can she not see she's in the room?
Presumably that means they're gunning down the people in the restaurant and then picking her up and carrying her away.
Yeah, but also she already brought up that the Arabic men had powerful guns. Like, clearly the advantage was they had...
Right, like, maybe they had semi-autos and the guards had, like little pistols or something.
Lydia and the waitress.
This is a shitty Olive Garden.
I want my shrimp scampi. I don't care how many people are shooting. Lydia and the waitress have run back to the back of the restaurant and are locked in, I guess, the kitchen. And
the walk-in cooler or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
Whatever it is, the room has a closet because they're also in the closet together. The Arabic men break down the doors. After the sentence saying that, it says Steven sent a text saying he is in the restaurant. So while she's like getting grabbed, she's like also reading her phone. She's like, hold on 1 second. Okay, now you can grab me.
Yeah.
The Arabic men grab her, tie her to the table to do the surgery.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen, yeah.
They're desperate to get their chip back.
Yeah, they do bring up why sort of they're trying to get this chip. Ready? We must get the chip. It belongs to us. Our country will fall if we don't return that chip. Let's do this. And that's what they say as they're getting ready to start the surgery. So for some kind of countrywide conspiracy or something, I don't know.
This really, really, really reminds me of that Tainted Tales and Rotten Rhymes, where it's that those frickin' clones or whatever, and then the punchline is a Muslim guy blows himself up, and that was the punchline, and it was just like, what? This feels like maybe she watched 24. Mm-hmm. And then imagined herself in a scenario with Steven Demogorgon instead of what's his face.
I think this author just thought of the things that scare her, which are demons, crows, and Arabs,
cats,
and that I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, this really feels like a victim fantasy of you are fantasizing about being a victim and getting rescued, which we've seen a lot of bad writing in that same genre, like Twilight. You know, she's the goofy, silly girl who's always getting in trouble and he has to save her because he's super fast. You know, and Anastasia Steele is so clumsy. Aha, he must save her from a bike that would run her over. You know, but this just feels like we've left the moderate possibilities of getting hit by a van on ice or hit by a bicyclist in the street, and we've gone straight to just weird.
This tiny town in Oregon is incredibly violent.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of like my same problem. Like, you always run into the problem of if angels are real, how do people not know? Right? If vampires are real, how do people not know? How do you keep this a secret of this magnitude secret from the world? Because conspiracies almost always get found out because it's impossible to keep people quiet. So then in this story, nobody's keeping anything secret, but we're still going to go around town and we don't have anti-demon locks on the doors. Like, we don't level up the rest of the town. The world building in this is really weird. It's really weird.
I mean, it's basically non-existent.
Yeah.
So fog fills the room. Steven kills the men. Vera and Seth bury the bodies in the woods, something they do a couple of times throughout the book. Lydia wakes up in the car, even though in the story, she never went to sleep at any point. But she wakes up in the car regardless.
Still, presumably with this chip in her uterus.
Yeah.
And an evil surgeon who put it in her?
Yeah. Not enough has been said.
Like, I would be questioning the surgeon. Like, why are these people saying you put this thing in me? Because, you know, like, there was a really big deal a while back, a few years back, of a surgeon who was carving his initials into women's uteruses during a C-section. And he literally would carve his initials as I done this one. And he got sued. He got the pants sued off of him because that is disgusting. That's medical malpractice. And that is an awful thing to do to your patients. So, like, if you have this kind of thing being said about your surgeon, you should be really worried. I would be upset.
I think I know what happened.
Okay.
You're a doctor.
Okay.
You have, through some nefarious means, stolen a chip from potential terrorists, and you're trying to think of somewhere to hide it.
Uh-huh.
So where would you hide it? What is something that all the men in your entire life have been looking for and been unable to find?
But I cannot find the clitoris.
So that's a big knobby thing on the inside of the uterus. Oh, there it is!
And he got it wrong, too? Oh, canon now. Okay. See, just, like, of all the places to hide, Lydia's uterus is not the place to hide the MacGuffin. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steven takes her home, he cooks her dinner, which in her words is delicious, and Steven is a great cook. It's weird that she had to, like, stop, like, the flow of everything to compliment Steven, a person who doesn't exist and doesn't require these alphabets.
And who presumably doesn't need to eat because he's an angel.
Yeah. Lydia tells Steven what happened, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know why any of that happened either. So, the end.
I would be very concerned about, like, what's going on with this doctor and the surgery that's coming up.
Yeah.
And
she questions at the end, but it doesn't seem like anyone's really concerned.
That leaves way more questions than answers.
Sure does. Oh, yeah, that's all I've got. Unless you want to do like a quick bonus one, because there is one that's kind of funny.
I'm just thinking of all the things that it would make sense to hide in a uterus, and I can't think of any. Because, you know, my mom she had C-sections with some of my siblings. And at the end, they'd count. And she was like, why are they counting at the end of the surgery? And they said, we have to make sure we have every sponge and every instrument, because sometimes instruments will get left behind in the body cavity, in the abdominal cavity on accident. And they have to count to make sure every single one comes out, because occasionally, like, a sponge will get left in there and that'll cause a huge infection. That'll kill you. Or, you know, not a scalpel, obviously, but like a little pin or something that'll clip and hold stuff back, you know, little metal things that spread and pull and push. And so they have to count and everything has to come out. And I just cannot, like, even in body horror, I cannot think of any stories where this has happened before. This is a new one. I have to say, as a woman if someone hid something in my uterus, that is scary. That's a scary story. That is horrifying. Yeah, if you have one that lands on a less disturbing note, maybe.
Let's do Christmas then.
Does Santa Claus bite? Joseph.
He actually does bite someone.
Oh my god.
Okay, this one's kind of weird to me because it does like a really big thing, and then it's like second to last story in the book. So they're at Steven's castle. Everything is decorated in Christmas. They're playing Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree.
Lovely. Mm-hmm.
And they're having a Christmas party. And Lydia comes up to Joseph and she sees somebody and she's like, Joseph, who is that? And he's like, I don't know. It's just some guy in a Santa suit. And they go around. They're like, who invited this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And no one invited him. Lydia's just like, oh, I have to go find Steven. And she goes upstairs. And very next sentence after that, Santa is taking a bite out of a party guest's leg.
Oh.
Blood is spraying everywhere. Everyone's running around screaming.
Okay. So
He's getting an axe.
Joseph is very happy it wasn't him this time.
Magdalene comes at him with an axe. Oh yeah. Santa grabs Lydia by her hair. He's like using her as a bargaining chip with Steven, I guess.
Uh-huh.
He says, Steven, come out wherever you are. I'm jolly and good. I will have a good time with Lydia unless you want to.
You?
Yeah, something's
You.
gonna rape Lydia, doesn't it?
Yeah. Or watch Steven
have sex with Lydia.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Santa gets punched in the face.
Good. That is good. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't do notes on this one.
No, that's okay.
They get into a strong brawl.
Much
Which is my
manly.
favorite way of this author saying that they get into a fight.
A big fight.
It's a strong brawl.
I love that.
Yeah, everyone is punching Santa in the face. And suddenly, Steven, Vera, and Seth have no powers.
Oh.
And
Plot twist.
none of any of the other fallen angels do either. And everybody just looks at each other terrified. And Santa just stands there and laughs in a very eerie way with a golf club in his hand. So presumably he's going to just beat the shit out of everybody with a golf club. But
Okay.
the end.
Okay.
That's the best note you're ending on because I've only got one more, and it's the doll part 2, and it's not good.
Is this the same doll from
Yeah,
earlier?
same doll.
But
Except
I thought
this time it's just Lydia and Magdalene.
I thought they burnt the doll.
They did burn the doll, but it gets sent to them in the mail. There is one thing of note that does happen in the doll part 2. Magdalene is talking to Lydia about all the other fallen angels losing their powers, so that does continue through from.
Oh, so they survive Santa, but they still
We don't know.
don't get their powers back. Well, I mean, presumably, unless he's a demon, a man could punch him and his nose would bleed. Like,
So I don't know what Santa is in this.
and if this is Steven's castle, I'm sure he has, a sword or a poker or something around nearby.
Swords several
Something.
times is used.
Uh-huh.
So Magdalene is talking to Lydia and she's like, hey, why can't they just call God or Satan or something and ask them to get their powers back?
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. Lydia says, I can't believe you just said that. That's not how this works.
Well, forgive me for breathing. God. Okay.
So yeah, that's why. And then there's just the box, and it's the doll, and the doll pops out and is just like, "Hey, girls!" And then that scream, the end again.
Yeah, I don't think I would have been a good host with this this book. I would have given you a detailed rundown of every single one. It would have taken us 5 hours, and you would have been ready to murder me at the end. This way was much better.
There were like a lot worse stories, but they were just like just poorly written and weird. Like there was like a couple like cannibal stories, another crow witch story, which we already did that in the first book, so I don't know why she had to do that again.
Right.
But yeah, for all intents and purposes, that is pretty much how the entire...
Like, she's attempting a jump scare. All of these are just an attempt at a jump scare, which doesn't happen...
Sneak up on you.
Yeah, that doesn't work in paper form.
It's like she's trying to write like a screenplay for an episode
Mm-hmm.
that's never going to get made.
Yeah. Or like I was saying, maybe like an audio drama where you have someone saying, "Hello, girls," and then that's the end of the story, but you jumped because they screamed, you know, and those are their own flavor of interesting, but on a book page that doesn't work.
Yeah. So I feel like Daisy De Silva did worse this time, honestly. And there wasn't even like the caveat of it just being charming because it was so funny to me.
Right.
It was chopped up in such a way that it was
because
barely readable.
At least in the first one, we had, 2 or 3 short stories within the larger book, but they were connected. They were connected and made sense sort of within themselves, and things happened. And some of these things aren't even actually happening.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just a lot of non-canon events, but...
You know how I was saying earlier that sometimes when you're hosting, especially if it's a sequel, you assume we remember the characters, or when you're telling us a story, sometimes in your head, you know what's going on, and you don't tell us because you know what's going on. That happens with authors. Sometimes in their head, they know what's going on and they don't write down what's going on. Right. But I think that's what's happening with this is in her head, a whole scene is going on, a whole story, and she knows what's happening. Yeah, but
her mind is already established.
Yes, we do not. We do not know what is going on. And I feel like if she had someone in her life who could read it and say, "I don't know what's going on here. Could you please write who these people are or what's going on or explain?" That would give you more substance to work with.
Yeah. But yeah, I felt like it was just a weird attempt at a bunch of like short, spooky stories, and it just didn't land. Like,
yeah,
without the charm of the first book, I feel like it's just got to be an F.
Yeah.
Like
we got to stop giving everything an F.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I don't know. There was that racist bit.
I would say pick a couple of them and give them your loving attention for a few weeks. Each of them, write a few sentences a day and try to flesh them out. Yeah. Give each of them some thought, something that happens before, something that happens after. Stretch it out a little. Give us a little more on a couple of these stories, because I feel like the emotions that Lydia goes through are emotions that she understands. And she's unwilling to really sit with them and process and deal with what Lydia is actually going through, and how being constantly kidnapped by Steven Demogorgon's enemies would be really traumatic and make you a shell of a human being. I just feel like these need to be processed through, and this is just this format doesn't work for pop scares.
Yeah, super good. Oh, which story was it that you gave an A? And
the one with the doll and the people, the girls' night running around screaming. That is hilarious. I love that. And it feels like it was written from experience. Like, I'm not saying she actually had a doll that said hello to her, but I am saying I've experienced that girls' night. We're running around screaming. We scared ourselves. And I think that is really funny and relatable.
So, I'll be generous and bring it up to a D.
Yeah.
Because that one had some good charm to it, I guess.
Yeah. And I will say the body horror of the idea of someone leaving an unwanted item in your uterus is absolutely horrifying.
Yeah,
I will say that if she had written that better, that could be really, truly disturbing.
Well, I feel like the horror wasn't even that something foreign was in her uterus. I feel like
it was these men trying to kidnap her.
Men are trying to get into my vagina.
Right.
Is what I feel
Which
like.
I feel like the emphasis shouldn't be there. It should be, because they should be rescuing her from this thing that's inside of her. So I feel like that is a really weird...
It should be the doctor is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And like at worst, these other guys should be like neutral, maybe?
Like maybe they're misguided and trying to go about this the wrong way. But it sounds like if you came at it from a neutral perspective, they would be trying to save her from this thing that should not be there. And this doctor would be insane to hide a thing like that inside of a human. There's very few things you leave inside of a woman's vagina. There's intrauterine devices that prevent pregnancy, and aside from that, there's really not much.
Semen.
That doesn't stay there, man. That leaves. It stays there for a very short amount of time.
Presumably one of those cells stays there for a little while until it becomes something else.
If you want a pregnancy and it stays there, yes. But no, nothing stays in there very long. It's a self-cleaning system.
Yeah. All right.
Wow, that was baffling.
That was very strange.
Very strange.
You can read it just for funsies.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get some time. I'm hoping that the next few weeks will be more chill and I have time to do a couple of books I'm really looking forward to. So, we hope you had fun. Thank you so much for your suggestion. It does take us a while, if you give us a suggestion, to get to it because we each have our own list of things we're working through and we work ahead. We try to keep our episodes out a few months. So, if we get a suggestion now, the soonest it would come out would be a few months from now. And that's if we get straight to it instead of working through our list and working through other stuff. But keep them coming. Thank you so much. Give us a follow, give us a like, and please share the episodes with your friends. If you think they would like bad books and funny commentary, share the love.
Yeah. I forgot how to end the show.
Well, I will end the show.
Yeah.
We will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.